Ladies and gentlemen, how the hell are you? Jeff Kiesel, Kiesel Guitars, hanging out for my weekly live Q&A. Man, what an awesome time we are in right now. We've been blessed to be so busy, and the shop has responded so well. So many of our staff are staying overtime and working hard to get your instruments out. So we're just above 900 in the works right now, which we were almost up to 1,600. It was crazy. It was absolutely bananas. And so we've been throwing a lot of overtime at it. Again, not going to rush. And we've been adding staff, some great people. You know, sometimes you lose somebody and you're like, oh, what are we going to do without this person? And, you know, the next person that comes in has a different technique or does something better, and you're just constantly amazed, you know. So thankful for that. Just the work we're doing here is just so excited about the work we're doing here. And speaking of the work we're doing here, let's show off a couple of customer builds. Who's this for? This is for Timothy, and I got a date, completion date of 10/27. What is the date today anyhow? 9/29?
Yeah.
So this is like 4 weeks early. That's amazing. So this is our SEB model, and it has a antique ash top, alder body, quarter sawn maple neck, tongue oil finish, ebony fretboard, bless you.
Thank you.
Mother of pearl dots, the H33 headstock with the antique ash, gloss finish, gold logo, black chrome hardware, and HSS. So, you know, we can do this pickup configuration on almost any of our models, or we can do 3 singles or hum single hum. So if you guys want different pickup configurations, call my guys and we can always do that kind of stuff for you. That's a cool one, and that's super early, so that's great. So I'm hoping that, you know, with how caught up we're starting to get, or shouldn't say caught up, how much ground we've progressed on. You know, we had quoted 16 to 20 weeks on all these builds for so long that we're going to start, as we start getting more caught up, we should be able to start quoting lower lead time. So now is still a good time to buy, because we're not so, we're still backed up, but we're not like we were, which is great. Check this out. Metal flake infused Aries neck through. And look at the back of this too. Wow. Gotta love that roasted swamp ash 7-piece neck. Tongue oil, back of the neck for smooth, fast playing. It's what I prefer. This is for a guy named John Dretto. You guys might know who John is. Hell of a player, you know, and a great person. And we've been working with John quite a bit over the past couple months. And this was a custom that he put in, and it's finally done. So John gave me some sample photos of what he was looking for this metal flake infused. And something that's different is this has some white actually in it. It's got quite a few colors, some aqua, some pink, some purple. And so I actually did a custom metal flake infused for him. And I can do all kinds of custom stuff, of course, but that was what we did for him. And custom control layout. Love this neck. I'm just staring at the back of this neck. It's got some flame in it. These are my favorite necks, the 7-piece necks with the walnut as the primary. And then you go to purple heart and maple. Roasted maple board on this one. Matching headstock. Just absolutely gorgeous. What do you guys think of these metal flake finishes? Metal flake infused. Love how they come out. And this is a Buckeye top, so I chose a top that would complement the fretboard and the body, and I didn't want to take away from the focus of the metal flake infused, because if I used a really grayed out piece or a piece with a lot of green in it, it would distract from the color. So the idea was, hey, let's really make sure we draw a lot of attention to what's going on here, what makes this special. So it was a top I picked out for him, and stoked on how it came out. Hopefully you are too. And hopefully John is. It sounds like John is. He sent me a message, and seems like he's pretty excited about the guitar. I'm not going to stay there. I'm not going to move. And we have this guitar. I showed this off before, this Jawbreaker finish. And I'm actually going to be putting it up for sale on the in-stock section. If you guys have noticed, our in-stock section only has about 30 instruments total on it. And so I'm actually not going to do a deal of the hour today. I'm giving you guys the opportunity to grab this guitar before it goes up on the site to all the vultures out there. So if you dig this guitar, call my guys at 858 Guitars to snatch it up. It's not going to be for a special price. It's going to be the normal price. Because guys, you know this, our guitars are worth more than we sell them for. You know, and we're constantly evolving and putting more time and efforts into the instruments. And so it's hard for me to sit up here every week and give a deal when I can't keep stuff in stock. So actually the guys, my son really pretty much was like, hey, why don't you not do the deal? Because we're having trouble keeping stuff in stock. So, and he's right. So at that, if you want this dope guitar, you don't want to wait 16 to 20 weeks for a custom. I mean, this is pretty damn custom. So call my guys and they'll give you the pricing on it and get you into this one. Love that logo, even a little triple logo. You got the green, white, and black on there. Came out so good. But this is a DC 600, has the bevels. You have a Floyd Rose, 25.5-inch scale. You have a Royal Ebony fretboard, no inlays on the top. Quarter sawn maple neck. It should be Alder body sides. Black chrome hardware. You have polarity pickups, actually. So these are active pickups. Cool thing about them, too, is you have two modes. So when you pull up on there, you get your more less aggressive, more vintage style tone. You leave it pushed in, it's more aggressive. So you have two modes there. True single coil, so a 5-way on there, but you have true single coil. It's actually splitting the coil. Where, you know, the other active systems out there aren't actually tapping a coil. They're accessing a part of the card that has a single coil emulated tone. That's not what this is. These are true passive flat wound or flat sounding pickups, flat response pickups. And then we have an active module and you're controlling it and shaping it. Guys like Mark Akubo of Veil Amaya and Andy James, Five Finger Death Punch are using these same pickups when they're playing live. So amongst a lot of our other artists and a lot of you guys, you fans out there. So anyhow, there's that one. And without further ado, let's find out what you want to know. I've talked enough. And what do you want to know?
Frank is asking, I suppose Alder is a more affordable wood. Is it good for guitar bodies?
Alder is a great wood for guitar bodies, and it's not really affordable. It's less expensive than mahogany, but Alder is actually a pretty expensive wood. It's a hardwood, it's a tone wood. A lot of high-end homes, I don't know if you guys know this, but they use a lot of Alder in their cabinets. They'll call it knotty Alder, and they'll buy the stuff that has the knots in there, and they'll finish them really nice. And some of your really like bougie, like high-end homes have a lot of Alder wood in them. So it's not really an affordable, it's not a cheap wood. It's our best option for keeping the cost down to you guys and still having the great tone.
Do you like Atomic Fireball candies? Do you think you guys can make a Jawbreaker finish with Atomic Fireball colors? Dark red, yellows, off-white.
I'm sure we could, and yeah, those are good, of course.
We got Johnny Highland in here.
Johnny Highland, my man, how the hell are you?
He says, hey, Kiesel family, love y'all. Have you picked up a JH6 yet?
Damn, look at that. Johnny Highland in here. Better get yourself one.
Here's a review. Someone says, I got my ZM8 in about a month ago. Best guitar I've ever played. I'm going to be selling some guitars to order a second Kiesel next month.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, you know, reviews like that, you know, that's exactly why we do this. You know, and like I tell people, our guitars are made to be comfortable, and playing is the number one thing when I do one of my guitar designs, is I want to make sure they balance good, they feel good, you can pull them in close, the necks feel really good. And of course that's opinion, right? You know, not everybody's going to be like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. But nobody can argue with the quality, the craftsmanship, the attention to detail. So if you haven't tried one, definitely take that leap, because you might be like this guy that just posted the review here and is selling other brands to get more Kiesels. So it happens a lot. I mean, I have customers that have sold off 70, 80 guitars and big guitar collections, replaced them all with our guitars. That's pretty powerful right there. because we kind of do all of the styles, right? And we allow you to customize them. We're so damn affordable. It's crazy.
Justin is asking, any plans for a rainbow sparkle run like last holiday season?
No plans for that, and especially with how busy we are, there's no way we could pre-build them and have you guys, be able to buy them like we did last year. We don't have any plans. I don't know what the future holds. I guess it just really depends on how busy we are.
If I buy a Kiesel with a non-locking trim, which is better, the Goto you include in the Theos or the standard trim bridge you include in other models? I'm interested in a gray cow with the Goto.
It depends. So a lot of players, if you tend to rest your palm kind of on the trim, I would not recommend the Kiesel trim because it's very sensitive. And so what makes the Kiesel trim so great is it is sensitive and it flutters like crazy. It returns the pitch really good. But the problem is if you rest your palm on there at all, or you tilt the guitar, let's say you're playing and some people tend, like Brandon Ewing, tend to tilt the guitar forward, it'll pull it out of pitch because it's so sensitive. So part of what makes the Kiesel trim so good is the fact that it is so sensitive, but it's not going to be for everybody. The Goto trim is going to be more of a traditional trim. It'll be a safer bet if you're not quite sure what you want. If you don't do a lot of fluttering and really rely on that, then I would go with the Goto.
Trevor is asking, how much for the metal flake infusion?
It's $1,200 option on top of a Buckeye burl top, which is $600. So it's not a cheap option for sure, but you get to pick what colors you want. I can do single colors, multiple colors. I've never done a fade, so I'd like to try that maybe one of these days.
What's your favorite Toneoid? What's the easiest and hardest to work with, and why?
So best Tonewood, I would say, if you're looking at something that's going to give you a lot of tone for not a lot of money and a really cool look, I always recommend Swamp Ash because you can do so much with it. With some of the raw tone finishes, the antique ash, do the antique ash with a translucent color over it. So it goes a really long way for tone and looks. But if you're going all out tone and you don't care what the cost is, I always recommend a chambered mahogany body with some sort of a maple top to it, whether it's flame maple, quilted maple, burled maple. Those types of tops just really tend to round out the mahogany's warmness and the chambering of the mahogany body.
Sean is asking, do I ever have to worry about reapplying tongue oil to the back of the roasted maple neck on my Aries?
It'd be just like any neck. So it depends on you. Depends on how much you sweat, how you clean the instrument when you're done playing. If you don't sweat a lot and you wipe the neck down when you're done playing, you might never have to reapply oil, especially if, the humidity is in check and, you're taking really good care of everything. But if you sweat like crazy and you don't wipe the neck down, then sure, you're going to have to reapply tongue oil, whether it's roasted or non-roasted. Just treat it like you would a maple neck.
Do you prefer a flame or quilted top for a denim finish?
Definitely, I'm going to go with the flame. Yeah, I think it looks more natural and more like a pair of blue jeans.
Joe is asking, what's the sound of roasted alder versus regular alder?
The roasted alder has a little more brightness to it. It's a little lighter in weight and a little richer in color.
Any chance of you guys offering an HSS configuration in the future?
We already offer it. Yeah, you see it right there.
Slade is asking, for my Satin Aries with Kiesel color treated bird's eye board, what should I use? Should I use a certain type of oil to keep it conditioned?
For the board? For
the color treated board, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while you could put a little tongue oil on it, just like you would the back of your neck. Kind of the same way. Make sure it's clean, and then go ahead and just put a little bit of oil on there and buff it kind of in, so you don't want to leave it set on there.
Do your basses come in short scale?
We do. We have a 30-inch scale Vader headless bass, 4, 5, and 6 string.
Tim is asking, do you think a purple to blue color shift perimeter burst would look good over a deep black flame.
Yeah, it would look really good. We've done that actually.
What is the general cost for CNC programming for a new feature for an existing model?
Totally depends on the feature. There's some that are a lot more involved, like custom scale links. That's thousands and thousands of dollars versus moving a knob, $100, you know. So it just depends.
Jonathan is asking, do you make Mahogany and Purple Heart 5-piece necks?
We do not.
The person from a couple of questions ago clarified and said, I meant an HHS configuration.
We do not offer an HHS. It's not something I've ever actually been asked for.
Rick is asking, do you guys offer the black EVO fret wire?
I've never heard of the black EVO fret wire. I actually asked the company Jescar for black wire, and they said it was impossible. So I've never heard of it.
Can you do a satin candy apple red finish?
Satin candy apple red? Sure.
Joji's asking, on the Guitar Builder, I found you have a separate checkbox for Floyd Rose and locking nut. Has anyone ever ordered a Floyd Rose without a locking nut?
Some people do, yeah, because we have locking tuners, so some people feel like it's a little redundant. But, you know, anytime we build a Floyd as an extra or something, we'll put a locking nut on it.
How do raw tone finishes age?
I mean, they're going to look, depends on you, you know. I mean, that's like, how does your car finish age in 10 years? Well, do you put it in the garage every day? I mean, like, it's all relative, you know. If you're really rough on things, you have acidic, you know, sweat, you sweat a lot, you don't keep things clean, it's going to look more worn over time. But I've seen raw tone finishes that are 7 years old that look brand new. So it's really up to the person, you know.
Frank is wondering, what would be a realistic budget for a first-time Kiesel customer?
So really, to get into one of our guitars, you're looking at about $1,400 to get into one. And they come loaded, right? They come with stainless steel frets, carbon fiber stiffening rods in the neck, lumen lace side dots, quarter sawn maple necks, locking tuners. I mean, that's all standard American-made pickups that you're not going to get anywhere else for that kind of price point. Then we're giving you $100 worth of free options. So we say, hey, we're giving you all this, but we're going to let you pick $100 worth of free options. So option it out. And that's at $1,400. That's at our base price. Our average guitar is selling for close to $2,400 now, is our average guitar. You don't need to spend that much money, especially if it's your first one with us, but you look at the options, you start clicking away, and other American custom shops, just for a solid color, without all the stuff I've just mentioned, they start at $3,000. They're more than double the price, and then the options are a lot more expensive than our options. So it's pretty crazy. And then at the end of the build, as long as it doesn't have any options that make it non-returnable, which we do have some of those, you get the build and you go, it's not for me, return it, and I'm going to give you your money back. Nobody else does that. These other custom shops don't do that, and people don't talk about that. They'll just be like, oh, I ordered this custom one-off finish, and I sent them a picture, and it doesn't look exactly like that, and they wouldn't give me my money back. It's like, well, yeah, man. I mean, you wanted pink sparkle over a Buckeye burl top that doesn't look good, but we tried to pull it off the best we could. We tried to advise you. I'm not calling out someone in particular, but just giving you an example. No other custom shop would do that. And they damn well wouldn't give you your money back if you didn't like it. So it's like, I don't know why people feel like we should give money back when the build's non-returnable. So we have to stand by that. But if the build doesn't have non-returnable options, no problem. We're going to give you your money back because you built it up in a way that we know it has standard options and those all look good together, and we can resell it. Because I don't want to be stuck with a white elephant that I have to discount, sell it for 20 or 30% off and take a loss. I mean, that's not right for anybody to have to go through because maybe a customer had a bad idea, right?
I have a Zeus and it's my number one. I will be getting another and was wondering, what is your favorite headless?
That's awesome. Thank you. My favorite headless is probably the HK at this point. A little larger body, of course, and it's going to be our most comfortable in my opinion. I also prefer guitars with headstock, so having a little larger body feels a little more normal to me. Not that our headlesses don't feel amazing. They feel amazing, and they feel like headless guitars, which is still a great thing. I just prefer headstocks. So I would take a look at our HK or a Vader. The Vader was the first one that really kicked it all off for me to really, want to get into headless guitars. So either one of those.
Mark is asking, any chance we'll see gold inlays to match the Evo frets?
Yeah, maybe someday. I mean, I just finished up a build recently that has mirror gold inlays on it. I've done a few of them in the past, and maybe it's something we could add to the custom shop.
Can you do ping pong style inlays?
Ping pong style? I don't know what that means.
Probably like back forth, back forth.
Oh, I guess I don't understand what that means, but I don't know. You have to clarify that a little better. We don't do custom inlays, so I guess that kind of answers that question anyhow.
Josh is asking, burgers or pizza?
Oh, definitely burgers. Even though I like pizza a lot, but I get heartburn, so I get acid reflux. Me and Jesse get to suffer sometimes. You get to have some tomato sauce and you're just done.
The struggle.
Orange juice too, man. Holy shit.
What is the difference between tongue oil nicks and Music Man style wax / true oil nicks? Why not offer both?
I don't even know what Music Man does, to be completely honest with you. I have no clue. I've actually never picked a Music Man up. I really couldn't tell you. It's just not my thing. Their styling and all that. So I don't know. I have no idea. But tongue oil is a very fast playing neck. Again, I don't know anything about the Music Man, but a wax, it must not be wax because wax sounds like it's going to stick. I would think. But oil is really smooth. The necks are sanded down to about 1,000 grit sandpaper and oiled. So they feel amazing.
Jonathan's asking, just curious, why are the 6-string longer scale guitars 26.5 as opposed to 27?
We felt that was a better string tension, especially for the tunings that 6 typically has.
John Dretto's in here. He says, can you talk about the process that went into my new build?
Look at this, John. Yeah, so these metal flake infused, I do every single one myself. Nobody here does these at all. And I can't give away too much, but there's so many steps involved to getting everything just right. And then there's a timing of everything, how you have to do the metal flake infused process versus when to cut the guitar out and when to route things out. There's a lot going on, and that's why I deal with all of them. And they're a lot of fun. I really enjoy them. And, I do a fair amount of them. And I try to do, when I'm going to do a metal flake infuse, I try to do like 2 or 3 at the same time because it is a long, drawn out process of several steps. And always my office, because I do them in my office, and people are like, what is going on in here, man? Like, you okay? And I always feel a little tipsy when doing them because, some of the processes have some really strong smells that are going on. But yeah, man, I can't wait for you to get this guitar and check it out and see it on, one of your next videos, whether it's with a car. I saw your Lamborghini video. That was pretty cool. I saw that this morning. Being a car nut myself, I think that's really cool. You do stuff like that. Yeah, put it up like that.
Andrew's asking, what characteristics do you look for when grading a maple top?
Consistency of grain, the pattern, what type of pattern it has. And again, just going right back to the consistency, how much of it there is. So if the pattern's really strong, but it's not consistent, I can't make it a master grade. It's going to probably be a 5A. But if the pattern is just fantastic and it's throughout, then there you go, you got master grade. and it's hard. We buy a lot of wood, and we'll get, let's say we buy 200 billets of a particular wood. I might come out with 8 that are master grade out of 200, and then maybe 20 or 30 that are 5A, and the rest is just standard. Some of it's not even as good as I want, and I send it back. I go, I don't even want to build a guitar with this, so here, you can have it back. Send it to someone else, and other builders will buy it.
I love the design of the Kiesel guitars. They're very nice. Who's got this, or I guess, who comes up with the styles?
Oh, well, thank you very much. I do all the design works since 2012 here, so thank you. I try to not worry about aesthetics as much as how they play and how they feel, and that's always been my number one. And then, of course, you try to balance that out. But you have to put strap positions in certain areas so the instrument balances, the bevels. That was something I took a big risk on early on. Nobody was doing extreme bevels. There was some companies toying around with it, but to carve away so much wood, people were like, it was a shock factor. And I got a lot of pushback even here at the shop, and it's caught on, in a big way, right? It seems like every company's got a bevel of some sort now, where before it was like they were probably all laughing at us, and now they're falling right in line, because you feel it, you touch it. The guitars are more modern. It's definitely a real thing, and once you hold a guitar, you get it, and they quickly become your number one. I know guys that have played, other brands or have played other models of ours, and they get into an Aries and they're like, it's just, holy shit, it's pretty crazy. I mean, Jesse, you're struggling with that, I think.
I love my Aries
a
lot.
Jesse's got the baby bevel.
Michael's asking, love the lithium pickups, but was wondering if the M12 pickups or the Illusionist pickups are similar in tone to the lithium. I love the clarity of the lithium, but just wanted other tonal options.
Yeah, that's great. I would say if I was going to recommend a pickup to be paired with the lithium and you like the lithium, I would check out the Illusionist. I think that's going to be your closest to the lithium, but give you enough of a difference to justify trying something else. And you're still going to have the articulation you want. I think that's what the lithiums are so good at, is the individual note articulation. You will lose a little bit of that, going to a little more output. That's kind of par for the course. But it's not going to be something where you're like so departed from what you're used to.
What options would you suggest for a no maintenance guitar?
A no maintenance guitar. Well, there's never going to be no maintenance, not with what we offer. We don't offer any composite guitars. I don't know, like those Aristides guitars, the plastic guitars. I don't know what kind of maintenance those have, but that's not what we have over here. So I'd say the least amount of maintenance you could get, a gloss finish. You could get it on the back of the neck as well, so that way you have less to deal with there. Not that tongue oil is very hard to deal with at all. And probably an ebony fretboard. And I'd say those are going to be your least amount of maintenance, but there's never going to be no maintenance. I would stay away from tremolos for sure, so you're not dealing with setup things at all. Just go with the fixed bridge.
Michael's asking, do Buckeye Burl tops have a dark or bright tone?
They have a warmer tone. It's a softer wood, so you're not going to have a lot of brights when you have a softer wood. That's just pretty much standard. The softer the wood is, the warmer your tone's going to be.
What difference does a roasted maple neck make on sound?
So it's going to be a little brighter. The feel too it's hard to explain. It feels softer and smoother, but harder at the same time when you press in. I can't really explain it. We've tried to explain this, and it doesn't make sense when you say it out loud, but then when you feel it, you're like, oh, I know what he's talking about. There's a little more stability with a roasted neck than a non. They're lighter in weight by, another 5 to 10% than a non-roasted. And they have a cool color. and a unique smell to them when you open the case. You know, it smells like, some people say like maple syrup or waffles or something, you know.
Jonathan's asking, is there a way to tighten the whammy bar on an Osiris?
Yep. Yeah, so basically what you're going to do, you're going to hold the guitar like this, and you're going to put the bar in, you're going to press down on it, and so the bridge is going to lift up, and there's a set screw right behind where the bar is, right here, and there's tools that we gave you, so push down on it and adjust the tension right there. Either stiffen it to make the bar not want to move, or loosen it to make it move freely. Very easy to do. I know we suck on instructions, so not a dumb question at all. We get that actually a decent amount, but it's a very easy fix.
Have my third Type X arriving this weekend.
Nice.
I'm thinking of ordering an XM6 with Pale Moon Ebony fingerboard. What's the minimum cost to unlock that option?
That's awesome, man. Well, thank you. Pale Moon can be added to a build of $2,000 or more. So you're pretty close there right out of the box. I want to say an XM6 is like $1,600. So throw a couple $100s worth of options on it and you're right there.
Vic is asking, I need a lightweight bass. How will a Vader bass with an ash body and Koa top sound?
It'll sound good. Yeah, you can even chamber that out if you want it even lighter. But yeah, Vader bass is great. You know, something you can do too is, you know, look at some of our neckwood options. You might be able to shave a little bit of weight there as well.
How often do you see a build that makes you wish you had thought of it?
I see that every once in a while. Yeah, there's no doubt. You know, you look at something, you're like, damn, that is nice. You know, or I'll look and go, if that had one less string, you know, if it was a 6-string or didn't have a trim or wasn't multi-scale, I would take it. I still have never taken a build from here. I've had people send builds back, like making a complaint about something, and I'm like, oh, I'm taking that. I'm not selling it. And then customers like 2 or 3 weeks later is like, hey, is it possible to get my old, you know, the guitar I sent back? Nah, man, it's not possible. We already give you your money back. Nope, not for sale. So I have done that before. There was one case in particular that I remember doing it on. There was this carve top that ended up getting, by accident, a master grade quilted maple top. And the guy didn't pay for it, just paid for a regular quilt. And I think the knob was in the wrong spot by about an inch or something, the volume knob. And the guy made a big old deal about it. We got it back. I looked at it and I was like, holy shit, this guy got this top by accident. That's like a $2,000 extra top on top of the $500 you paid. It was like a $2,500 top you paid $500 for. And I said, I'm not selling it, you know? And the guy wanted his money back. So we gave him his money back. And then like 2 weeks later, he realized like how dope of a top it was. And people were like, you let that go? And kind of gave him a hard time, tried to get it back. And I said, no, I just kept it. Hung on to it. So happens sometimes.
Justin's asking, any chance we will see a Thanos guitar model? I love my Thanos bass and would love a guitar to match.
You know, we get a decent amount of requests for it. You never know. It's not in the works, but you know, it's come up enough times that, you know, I should probably look into it.
Hey Jeff, I love my new JB200. It's awesome. But was wondering if it will be available as active and passive again. Mine arrived as passive only.
That's awesome. I'm stoked that you like it. No plans on ever offering it as active again. And the reason for that is Jason never played it as active, ever. His guitar was a passive. And so, you know, to really try to get back to the roots of what he actually played, we decided to go back to passive, which is what Jason played. And we've discontinued that module. That was the only guitar it was going in, and we haven't offered that for some time now. I think 3 or 4 years. There's no plans on ever offering it again because Jason never played it. So I want to offer the fans what Jason actually played because I know that's what you want. I know you guys want what Jason played. So that's what we're doing.
Khalil is asking, what's the weirdest custom request you have received and did you do it?
I can tell you the weirdest one was a headstock in the shape of a penis that was flesh colored, and I did not do it. And this guy ended up trying out for Jessica Lynn's band. Isn't that the craziest thing? The same guy.
That's so
He got a
random.
company to do it for him. I'm serious. And they're like,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
we can't, like, we're like a wholesome band here. We can't have you with your penis-shaped headstock
Oh,
on stage
man.
with us. This isn't, Ramstein. Oh, man.
How many guitars do you have yourself?
A lot. I don't know. And technically all of these until you guys pay for them. But no, quite a few. I was moving around some guitars in the back room, and I was like, very quickly ate up a whole section of guitars that I have. I was like, oh shit. And, you know, a lot of them, you know, we built and they've sat here for, let's say, 2 months to a year and a half. I've never done anything with them. Maybe played them for 5 minutes, and you know, or some of them, you know, a lot longer, obviously. But I ended up giving Flock a couple of them over the past couple of months. Like, I'm not going to do anything with this one. And like, here's one right here. Let me grab this. So here's one right here that's getting ready to go up onto the site. And 7-string Vanquish, love it, but not going to do anything with it. I actually loaned it to Justin McKinney. He played it for like a couple weeks. I don't remember what he needed it for, but he needed a 7 for something he was recording. And this is getting ready to go up on the site. So it's a dope guitar, but I was like, I'm not doing anything with it. Let's sell it, Flock. And I've had guitars where I've owned them, and customers have bought them from me personally, or they've talked me into selling them to them, or let the shop sell them to them. I had one that I built. It doesn't matter. I won't go into detail. But I've sold guitars to people direct and let the shop sell guitars. It's always fun. Just want to make sure they get used, and I feel bad holding on to so many of them just sitting there, and you know, and they're not going anywhere. It's like, why?
Kenneth is asking, loving my neck through Aries run. Thank you so much. For first 8-string, what model would you recommend, and would you recommend multi or regular?
That's awesome, brother. Thank you for being part of that. You know, I would say for an 8-string, I would recommend multi-scale. I mean, as you add string count, it really makes sense to get the tension right. You know, when we do the multi-scale in the 8, we go from 26 to 27 and a half. So you get a little more tension on that F. And then obviously quite a bit less tension on, you know, your higher strings, which is important, right? Of course, the Aries is super comfortable. You might even want to try a bolt-on Aries if you don't have one, or go headless. You know, getting up in the string count, headless makes a lot of sense. Osiris is a dope guitar, being bolt-on. You know, it's not that I always want bolt-on with an 8-string, but they just have a different sound as an 8. You know, you get more of that punch with the bolt-on. So I tend to lean towards bolt-ons for, you know, 8-string guitars. 7s, they can go either way, is kind of my opinion. 6s, obviously they can go either way, but I still prefer neck-throughs. But take a look at the Osiris. I think you might be most happy with that. It's going to have that similar feel to your Aries. And it's, I mean, being headless is nice and compact. I'm getting the sign to spin the damn wheel. This is the point where Savannah actually stops typing and turns around to see what the hell's going on. Tip of the week. All right, tip of the week. Let's think about this. Tip of the week. I would say probably for this week, when you're playing your guitar, before you put it away, we all have old shirts, maybe an old band shirt, old white t-shirt, whatever, that we're not wearing anymore. Just take a minute and wipe down the strings and the neck at least. I know it's hard to clean the whole entire instrument when you're done playing each time, but if you take that, I mean, what does it take? A minute to just throw a shirt in here real quick, you know, pull it up and back a couple times really fast, get your strings nice and clean. They're going to last longer. They're not going to stink as bad as they normally do. You know what I'm talking about. And then just wipe down the back of your neck. If you have gold hardware, definitely wipe the knobs down and your tuners at least, because if you don't and you have acidic sweat and you touch it like that and you lift off, more than likely your thumbprint's going to be there forever. And that's just how gold is. It's not an us thing. It's just, it's real gold plating, and gold tends to, show that kind of acid sweat. And not everybody has that really acidic sweat. I don't myself. So my guitars stay looking really good for a really long period of time. They don't smell. I'm not a sweaty guy. I don't sweat. Like, my hands don't get sweaty. I don't know. I guess I'm just fortunate with that. Now, when I was working out a lot, I would sweat a lot more. Not when I was working out, but when I had a lot more muscle mass, I sweat a lot. So some of you guys that are bigger dudes that, work out, hit the gym a lot, it takes more effort to move your arms and everything. And so you guys probably sweat more. So, that would be my tip of the week. Wipe your neck and strings down. Gold hardware, wipe that down. And I think that's it. So thanks for joining us. I have a very special live next week. Mr. Greg Howe is going to be joining me on the live. So giving you guys a whole week to think of your questions.